over time, it seems like people's political opinions have been more and more determined by vibes and messaging than by what the party actually does for you, you know? Because nowadays, you don't have to do anything for the working class to be considered the working class candidate. There are tens of millions of Americans who think that Trump is for the working class, in stark opposition to everything he's ever done or said. You know what I mean? So it's like, now that you can consume hours and hours of concentrated political messaging every single day and get your opinions fed to you completely disconnected from the actual policy that's being pushed by an administration, it seems like it's easier to give people narratives that are completely contrary to reality. Not to say that people haven't always been wrong. You know, it's not like people were smarter 150 years ago, but I think there's a very specific, like, disconnect between the perception of somebody like Trump and what he actually does that could only be produced by the constant proliferation of media that describes him as something other than what he is, you know? I'm really sorry, but I do have a pretty low opinion of rural Americans. I'm sorry, I do. It's just that, like, every chart you can look at on, like, how bad a person is goes up when you get into the sticks. It's literally true. Racism, sexism, child abuse, you know, like, all manner of interpersonal disagreeability, educational level, political view. It's like, damn, man. I'm not saying it's innately their fault. You know, it's obviously not. It's just like, you know, it's something worth acknowledging. As always, you know, it's just the only reason I'm saying this, by the way, because you could say that, like, if I wanted to, I could sit here and go, hey, did you know that rural Vietnamese people are pieces of shit? Look at them. Yeah, that's right. You think they're noble proletarians, but they're actually very homophobic. Like, okay, wow, thank you for the insight, dipshit. It's like, I'm only saying this because I think there are some leftists who take that noble savage view towards the American proletariat, where they think that, like, every rural, like, Appalachian guy is just a, like, you know, Blair Mountain striking union worker in waiting, and all they need is to be handed a pamphlet, the Communist Manifesto, and then they'll rise up or whatever. And I just don't think that's true. Actually, I know that's not true. Oh, okay. The last thing that I'll say is that the only lefties I've ever seen who get really, like, persnickety about being mean to rural Americans are the ones who live in cities. And then all the lefties who live in rural areas are like, you spit it, King. It's hell over here. It's shit over here. Please, God, yeah, get me out of this shithole, you know? It's like, yeah, they know, you know, they know. One of the main things holding rural America back is that they teach themselves to hate the cities. You know, like, there's a massive labor drain from small America, like small town America, rural America, because there's nothing to do there and it's shit. And all the queer people want to leave because they're, like, being hate crimed, and the women want to leave because there's, like, one guy they can marry in each of these towns. You know, they want to leave because it sucks. And a lot of rural people hate the cities for looking down on them. But frankly, the city should look down on you because you suck. But it's not an innate thing. It's not like the innate nature of living in a rural area or whatever. It's that you're a victim of unequal socioeconomic development. But the fact that you won't acknowledge that, and that you're constantly glazing the small town American life, the small town American life is dead, dude. It died in the 50s. It died with Walmart. It died when all the small businesses dried up, because all the, like, megacorps moved in and sucked all the life out of the area with their, you know, big box prices from commodities that they get in bulk from China. And that, like, makes everyone have to go there to get their commodities for cheap, and the local businesses dry up, and then everyone loses their jobs and they all have to work at Walmart. But then Walmart closes anyway because the fucking, you know, because they would make $6 more per year if they moved to a different area. Destiny ass just move argument. Don't be stupid. Why does everyone get so defensive over this? I'm not saying that the people who live in rural Appalachia are morally at fault for the socioeconomic consequences they're facing for living in rural Appalachia. I'm not making that argument at all. It's completely different. You're getting mad at, you're fighting ghosts right now, okay? You're engaging in fisticuffs against ghosts. I think we have to acknowledge, like, again, this is an issue with people on the left and with, like, rural Americans. We have to acknowledge, okay? Not only is the small American dream dead, it can never come back under this economic system. And the longer we spend pretending that, like, rural America is a bastion of, you know, noble savages and proles just waiting for their revolutionary speech, the less we acknowledge reality as it is. Cities are better than rural areas. They just are. Not because you can go to a fucking barcade, but in like every demographic stat imaginable, from life expectancy to education to everything, like in every possible way, you know? Okay, but like most states are rural. I mean, all states have rural area, you know? Uh, right? I say like Rhode Island does. It's they all do, right? I'm saying that like it's not a state thing. I'm saying like where you live, you know? I'm not saying you should just, I'm not blaming you if you live in a rural area. I'm just saying that it's unequal. It's not like two equal, it sucks, man. It really sucks out there. I live in Seattle, which is a really overpriced city, but you know, to my east, all of like northern Idaho and rural Washington and rural Oregon, it's like Nazis out there. Like not just rural Trump country, but legitimate like 3%er preppers with bunkers, like we're waiting to come out of the bush and start a white ethno state kind of guys. It's like, ugh, you know? It's not good. This is a West Coast view. Oh yeah, man, like Appalachia and rural Ohio are doing great. Come on, come on. As from the area, Vaush is right. Appalachian here, Vaush is right. I'm telling you, dude, it's the people who live in those areas who agree with me. I know I'm just a Beverly Hills born city slicker, okay? I get it, but I've done my road trips, all right? I've been around enough of America. It's not just unequal development, man. It's like different worlds, and one of them is better. And it's not a moral judgment on the people who live in the sticks or anything. And if you like it out there, God bless you. There are probably people who could like sell all their worldly possessions and move to the mountains of Ethiopia and be really happy out there. I don't know, but I still probably argue the mountains of Ethiopia have poor average socioeconomic development than, you know, Seattle. There was a concrete company I did IT for that had a private bunker, ceremonial stage, and child indoctrination artificial cave. Okay. All right. Okay. It's mostly an affordability thing. Yeah, no, I completely get, again, I am not judging you if you're stuck in the sticks due to socioeconomic, but that's the same as people who live in like, I don't know, like Congo or whatever, right? Like, you know, like if they had a bunch of money, they'd probably move somewhere else. I imagine a lot of them. It's kind of rough over there. So like, I'm not judging. It's not a moral judgment. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm like, I'm acting out trauma here because of all the people I see on the online left who have like a weirdly contrarian attitude toward this. You know, I don't know. I want cities to be more affordable, of course, you know? Sorry, Vaush, I swear I'm not trying to be shitty. This is just personal to me. I'm literally from this area. These people are not stupid villains. Okay, hold on. I'm not saying they're villains. Though a lot of them are probably like really weirdo reactionary Christian far-right assholes. As for them being stupid, I mean, poorly motivated politically, it's not an innate judgment. I'm not saying their brains work worse. I'm just saying they've been deprived the educational opportunities. Come on, we know we're anti-essentialist here, right? It's layers upon layers of shit they're buried under. I agree, but I want to free them of that. I'm not turning my nose up at them. I want everyone in this country, everyone in the world to live like a good life. But but you'd make the argument they should get to live a rural life with support and dignity. Yeah, sure. Everyone should get to live a good life. Yeah. Though I do think that rural life in general tends to kind of suck, you know? Cities aren't the answer. There are those who don't want to live in shitty concrete jungles. Okay. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Case in point, read Dusty Poncho's comments. You're enabling that bullshit. Why are we mad at me? Okay, I looked up Dusty Poncho's comments, and the last things that were saved by the White Leaf chat logs were the conversation about Elfenlied and how they watched it with their grandma when they were a kid. So that's like the stupid can sound like an essentialist judgment. I don't know how many times I have to say it's not an essential, like you have to be charitable to an extent, you know? You don't have to be educated to come to the right conclusions about how people should live together in a society. It helps. That's why educated people are often much more left-leaning. You're saying rural voters are kind of dumb and cities should look down on them as kind of the reason why Dems have been increasingly losing in rural areas? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's mostly racism, not gonna lie. Also, like, again, like, there are literally a bunch of people in chat who are like, hey, I'm from the sticks and it sucks here. Please spit that shit, King. I don't know what I can do with you guys. Would you want me to be, like, more PC? Oh, sorry. Let me preface every statement. These people who are objectively lower by every metric possible when it comes to, like, political decision-making, education, personal attainment, reactionary views. They're not dumb, even though I'd call people dumb for that reason all the time, because we're looking at like fucking rural folk. Now I have to adopt this patronizing like lefty tone where it's like, no, even though they've adopted every marker that I would use to call other people dumb, I'm actually gonna be like, no, they're like they're the economically challenged, like working class, the underdogs of the American spirit, you know? Like, fuck off, man. Like, I have to say that shit for every Trump voter I look at? Come on. Vaush comes across a huge fucking asshole here. Your whining is valid, but how is anyone who doesn't already know and agree supposed to view you? I like the people in chat who are like, Vaush, you're completely correct, but you're sounding like someone who doesn't want to win a statewide election in Kentucky. I'm not running. What? Shut up. Yeah, he's completely correct in the positions that he's empirically correct by like every metric, but you know, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. You kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. Come on, man. We're just starting the stream. We're just starting the stream. If we were just starting the stream, I wish we could stop pretending the media and Trump voters per roll. When did we say, when did, like, you're inventing a position, when did I say that? When did I say the median Trump voters poor and rural? You're inventing a completely different position to be mad about. I think the fact that you guys are so irrationally angry is actually perfect proof of what I said about the left having a very weird, noble, savage attitude towards the rural poor in America, where like there's like a weird defensiveness towards them that is not the case with a bunch of other populations that I criticize with equal callousness, you know? I'm so callous to so many groups of people, but for this one, everyone in chat's getting like really sensitive, and it's like, dude, we're not talking about like crime in inner city America. We're not talking about a population where you're one misinterpreted argument away from like, you know, adopting the position of your average Stormfront viewer, okay? We're talking about rural white Americans, all right? Probably, at least politically speaking, the most pandered to group of people in the fucking universe. Every politician can't win unless they talk about the good old, honest, salt-of-the-earth small-town America, despite the combined GDP of all rural areas being $5, you know? Like, they're pandered to like crazy, not economically, but rhetorically. And, you know, I think you've gotten used to that. I think you've gotten a little bit too used to that, okay? Frankly.